Hi everyone, I'm so excited to share this collab with you. It's been in the workings for months now, and the stars, sun, and moon have finally aligned for this to be complete. Since we both love stationery and journaling so much, I wanted to create a full journal essentials kit for traveling or just to keep everything compact and together. Jordan has created a beautiful full stationery set that can go into the kit, so definitely check that out at the link below along with all the tools and supplies you'll need for this DIY. Before we put anything together, you'll need to cut out all of your pieces from the pleather using scissors or a rotary cutter if you have one. You'll need the main cover piece, which is 19 by 10 inches, flap that is 6 by 9 inches, medium pocket is 6.5 by 5.5 inches, small pocket, which is 6.5 by 4 inches, large pocket, 8 by 10 inches, and a small strap about 3/4 of an inch wide and about 6.5 inches long. Don't worry too much about getting a straight edge here because I purposely cut these about 1 inch larger all the way around to make sure we have a nice edge later in the process. Now taking your inner print fabric, you'll need to trace and cut the main cover piece and the flap. The print I am using is actually designed by the one and only Jordan. I had it printed on a plain cotton fabric and it works so well with the concept. I'll have the link to her pattern in the description as well. Moving on to the best part of the project, heat and bond. It's like a double-sided tape for fabric. So you'll need to trace out 2 pieces, one for the main cover and one for the flap. Place the heat and bond face down, so paper side up on the pleather, and iron on a silk setting about 2 seconds per location and then keep moving. You don't want to get the pleather too hot or it might melt. Then peel off the paper and iron on the print fabric right on top. Be careful and put an old shirt or fabric underneath and in between the iron and the project to make sure that no glue gets on the iron or the board. Once you have everything bonded together, you can trim the pieces and create a nice clean edge. Trim the cover to 18 by 9 inches and then trim the flap to 5.5 by 8 inches. If you have an extra piece here that is about 3/4 of an inch wide and 6.5 inches long, you can use it as your strap later on. Now take both the medium and small pockets, draw a line a 1/2 inch and an inch out, and cut the corners like so. Using hot glue, fold the top flap down and secure. To make your guidelines for the placement of the pockets, measure about 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the cover, mark it, then measure about 5.5 inches from the left edge, and then mark that. Definitely use sewing chalk or something other than a pencil to be able to get rid of the marks later. I started with a pencil since it was right beside me and I don't want you to make the same mistakes. Add hot glue to the bottom of the pocket, line up the guidelines, and then press to secure it. So in order to keep the sides from flipping back over, use some tape, roll it, and then place it underneath to keep the flaps down. Now add the hot glue and then press it into place. You can just pull out the tape once the glue has set. Now repeat the steps for the medium pocket or the small pocket. Take your strap, place it about a 1/2 inch from the top of the small pocket, and then secure it on the back side. One thing I realized is that the hot glue can get a little messy. Don't worry so much about that, just make sure the hot glue is at its max temperature so that you can get the best stickiness. I did an experiment with 3 different glue types because I didn't like how messy hot glue was, and depending on the temperature of your gun, it probably isn't as secure as sewing, but it's the next best thing. I did the test with hot glue, E6000 Fabrifuse, and E6000 Industrial Strength. I let them all cure and then tried pulling each of them apart. The hot glue budged slightly but kept hold in the center. The Fabrifuse doesn't work very well with this type of fabric, and the E6000 didn't hold at all. So hopefully this helps you decide what glue to use, and maybe you'll want to test things out yourself to be sure. Okay, so back to the kit, I actually went ahead and added a line of glue to divide the pocket into 2. This way the pens fit a little more snug. Now the pockets on the left side are done. Moving on to the flap that will keep all your supplies and whatnots in place. Trim that down again to 5 by 8 inches. I realized that it didn't fit into the strap, so I needed to make it a little smaller. Insert the flap into the strap like so, and then mark where you want it to sit. Mine ended up being about 1/2 an inch from the left edge, and then I wanted 1/4 of an inch from the top, keeping it consistent with the pockets. Add hot glue to the flap, line it up, and then press to secure. Now for the large pocket, measure and mark a 1/2 inch and 1 inch all the way around. Cut off the corners and then fold over the 2 left and right sides and secure using hot glue. I originally wanted to do these the same way as the pockets, but decided to cut off a 1/2 inch from the top and bottom. I then measured 1.5 inches from the right edge of the cover and marked it, and then glued it directly onto the cover. Make sure to use a very thin line of glue, less than 1/4 inch wide, so that your journal can still slide in. I then created a little rounded quarter template and rounded all of my corners. Keep in mind that you can adjust the sizing to fit your journal and you don't have to follow my measurements 100%. Now to finish off, I added a grommet 5/8 of an inch centered from the right edge of the cover by poking a hole using my awl and my scissors. Secure it into place using the setting tool. Added the suede rope and the journal kit is done. This turned out so well. I hope this video inspires you to think of new ways to create a kit you love. There is a version up on this shop if you're interested. I am working on setting up a launch date for everything I'm working on for you, so follow me on Instagram for updates. Thank you so much for the love and have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye!